Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Best track, in my opinion, on the iRacing circuit. Austin, we're going to see so much action around here. Slipstream is going to be so powerful. This is certainly one that's going to ebb and flow all throughout the 22 laps around this track tonight.
It really is. Spa is such a fun track. It's got high-speed straightaways, and those tight medium-speed corners throughout the track is definitely going to be proving to be a little bit of a hassle for a few of these drivers. We're currently here qualifying, so everybody's just focusing on that top speed and just maximizing everything that they can on this track. But when you get into pack racing, that is where it's going to really count. We saw some good pack racing in Phillip Island, and that turned into a little bit of a positive and a little bit of a negative throughout the race yet last week. But this week, it is looking pretty good. Jerome Lamley is on provisional pole right now compared to everybody else. Sam Coleman is in second place and current championship standings. Jerome Lamley is currently tied for fourth with Tony Jimenez. Sam Coleman, though, believe this is our first time seeing Sam hop into the iGPFun Formula 3 series. Hello to everybody in our YouTube chat and watching from either YouTube on their phones, at home, on their couch, or maybe on their work break, like Q Tiago Marteau is joining us from our YouTube chat. Not on track right now, as some people have a little bit things going on. Some people just, you know, spending this day, whatever it is. Either it's your off day, either you're just chilling it, either it's your birthday and you're still working. You know, always great to have you here on iGPFun.
Yeah, happy birthday. Austin should get that out of the way. Andy Flynn just warming up his tires actually on the exit of P1 corner. Yeah, really overly aggressive, warming his tires, maybe just trying to get in one more lap, trying to fire up those Hancock tires just to see if he can get any more pace. 5/10 off Jerome Lamy. It's Andy Flynn at the moment, 2/10 in fact, separating Lamy and our new man Coleman in second place. quite a big difference. In fact, Austin between first and second is normally very close in the IGP Fun series. It's not uncommon, I think, to see 20 or even 30 cars separated by a second. So Spa, a longer lap, really showing the differences in the cars. Victor Barris is in fourth. That's really surprising to me. Victor Barris has been gaining pace all throughout the season, but a huge jump up in his pace. Fourth place. He'll be hoping to really capitalize on that and score some great points here tonight.
Yeah, points are definitely up for grabs, especially if you are starting up near the front. You're going to be the head of that charging snake down that long straightaway on these opening laps. And especially on these opening laps, the cold tires are going to be wreaking havoc throughout the midfield. So you want to be as far up from that situation. But that midfield is going to be so crucial. Even though this is iGPFun Formula 3 series, there is that rule. This is going to still, those new tires is going to be very crucial to the start of your race. And I feel like we might be seeing a little bit of a kerfuffle from 10th place down.
We always tend to see that in the IGP Fun series. Phillip Island, no exception. Red Bull Ring as well. I mean, all of the races have been so interesting. You know, we've got such a big car grid here. You know, some 45 drivers in the session at the moment. Simone Fessy improves from 10th place up into 4th. Great improvement by him in the dying stages of qualifying. He'll be really pleased that he managed to get that time in just when it mattered the most. Richard Van Veen, 2 seconds off. Van Veen not really having the season that we saw from him last season, not having the pace. He's 37th at the moment, almost 2 seconds off Jerome Lamy's time. He'll be wanting to improve, but he's just not going to get the chance to. And in fact, Austin goes very wide on the exit of No Name Corner, and that is going to be his lap deleted, even if he could make it to the checkered flag.
Yeah, no name, no lap time for you as he actually pulls off at that corner, as this is Frankie Franchica coming across the finish line to end out his time. Frankie using a bigger wing than everybody else currently in qualifying. I believe that is just his race setup, and he's just going to be running with that throughout the day. The drivers running with the more downforce setup is just going to be making the advantage throughout the second part of the track and those medium speed corners, and especially when you get into pack races and you have to deal with that dirty air. Those medium wing drivers are really dangerous, but when they are around the low downforce drivers, those low downforce drivers are going to have the advantage in the straights, but the-vantage in the S sections and any part that has a turn. So if you're on the fence, what strategy would you go with? Would you go with a low downforce setup or a higher downforce setup?
I think to be competitive, you have to go for a low downforce setup. You have to get that speed on the straight. Otherwise, you're going to be a sitting duck. I mean, out of turn one, La Source, all the way up to Lacombe, you're fully flat, and you're just going to be losing time. You've got to just sort of bite the bullet, take the low downforce setup, struggle through the mid sector, and just be rapid on the straights, because that's where the race is going to be won and lost. I don't think tyres will come into this race too much. Famous last words, I know. It's all going to be about the slipstream, all going to be about just managing gaps, managing pack racing, like you mentioned, Austin, earlier on. It's going to be really, really fascinating, but I think any drivers that choose to go for a medium downforce setup are just going to be slow on the straights. They're going to find it so difficult to keep positions, let alone make up positions.
Yeah, keeping and making up positions is definitely going to be the name of the game, and staying out of incidents here. Because Spa is sometimes home to a few pretty big incidents, especially at the end of the straightaway, as Adam Talisman just hooks it into the pit lane. But incidents certainly were aplenty in Phillip Island. That really changed up the championship. The only part that didn't change up the championship is, well, one, Digital Apex being at the top, Lucas Marut being at the top. Everything else, though, completely different. Adam Talisman is now in 3rd place. Robert Ridgway, who was in 3rd, is in 2nd place. Jerome Lamley is in 4th with Tony Jimenez. And we have a few new names up there. Darren Rollinson is up into 10th place, joining that top 10. Luca Ferrani, I believe, stays in 7th place. And the 2500 classification still stays with Robert Ridgway, but most of the championships had just been flipped on its head.
Yeah, such a consequential race, I should say. at Phillip Island, we really saw drivers just unable to really keep it on the track. At certain points, the wind was high. It was a really difficult race for our drivers, and you know, we've had some major shakeups, which can only be a good thing if you are a casual viewer or a commentator of the iGPFun series. It's going to create a really interesting dynamic with the drivers that maybe struggled at Phillip Island, like Jerome Lamy, who had that internet disconnect, to come back stronger here, might be pushing the car, over pushing maybe. So, you know, don't think that just because that race is done and dusted that it's not going to affect the drivers heading into this race at Spa tonight.
And here we go. The grid is up. It's time to get ready to rock and roll here at Spa. And it's Jerome Lamley up on pole with Sam Coleman right behind him. They're followed by Giacomo Murgia, Simon Fessi, Victor Barris, Tony Jimenez, Alessandro Romanelli, Will McIntyre Jones, Andy Flint, and Alistair Hay, followed by Leo Lung and Lucas Burrick, your championship leader in 12th place. They're followed by Gavin Petty, Christian Glamcenter, Nicholas Westman, Evan Way, Mohamed Boalik, Robert Widgeway, and Andrew Brunton, followed by Adam Talsma, Rafael Munzer, Alan Lee, Darren Rollinson, and Simon Gabriel in 24. They're followed by James Cochran, Leonardo O'Cherry, Clark Williams, Matt Brewer, Premslaw Bienznak, and Marcelo Kessler. Philip Lucas, Nick Carter, Keelan Richie Robertson, and Chris Trott, followed by Reed Dennis and Ben Goyette. Your current amateur rookie championship leader. They're followed by their rival Potapenko in 37th, followed by Richard Van Veen, Frankie Franchica, Patrick Rollins, Matthew Gracie, Rory Collins, and Noel Richie Robertson. Timu time in 44th, and at the end of our 45 car grid is Chris Rosecrans, our defending race winner, who said he was just doing a one and done. And you know, the last 6 cars did not set a lap time, I believe, so we'll see who is actually out there on track. But 44 cars, I believe, are out and ready to go here at Spa. As you can see, them all lined up down that front straightaway, and some even hooking around the final corner.
Yeah, that's going to be such a difficult place to get the car started. We often see it in the iGPFun series as just the number of cars that we have on the grid. You know, Timu, Noel Richie Robinson, Rory Collins, Matthew Gracie, all going to be really struggling to get off the line.
Yeah, and here we go. 5 red lights, and it is green, green, green here at Spa for the iGPFun Formula 3 Series. Jerome Lamley and Sam Coleman getting off a good start right there as they all get onto the brakes, heading into turn 1 at La Source. And everyone's just still trying to find the way. Jerome Lamley getting ahead of Coleman right there, clearing him around. His top 5 are all nose tail right now, side by side, heading down to El Rouge and up into Radion. As now on to the Kemmel Straight we go. Lamley jumping outside, leaving a door open for Coleman. Coleman looking down to the inside, but locking into the background. And Simone Fessi onto the inside, Giacomo Murgia. And he's being blocked by Sam Coleman right there. Murgia is going on to the outside, trying to hold off Lamley. Lamley takes the lead right there, heading into Les Combes. And now it's Lamley and Coleman still leading together, but Lamley has Coleman onto his inside. He can't take that corner, and now you can see the top 6 really off into their own as you see Lamley defending from Coleman once more into Rivière. As they are nose to tail right there. You can see everybody just fighting the rear end of the car, trying to keep temperatures into these tires, and will just really beat temperatures as everybody goes off track just a little bit as they fly through No Name.
Great start there by actually the top 11. None of them have changed positions, but that doesn't really tell the story. Jerome Lamley so wide on the exit of P1. This is going to be Sam Coleman's best opportunity to get past him. Defending to the inside is Jerome Lamy. Oh, there's going to be contact in the back between Murgia and Coleman. Murgia just losing pace. Who is that?
That's Barris off. Victor Barris is tapped from the behind. I believe Murgia might have tapped him right there. Barris got pushed off into the grass at 12 and 13. He just went straight on, but he might have suffered a little bit of damage from that little bit of a tap. We will see right now, but currently our top 2 pulling away. They have the 1.4 second gap. Victor Barris, who was right with them, has fallen away. Jerome Lamley and Sam Coleman leading off this race. 1.5 seconds separates them and from that 3rd place. And this might be the fight for the race win this entire time as they head into the chicane, and Murgia has fallen down the field.
This is certainly a race on for the overall race win at the moment. Coleman versus Lamy. Fessi falling by the wayside, a little bit caught up in that Victor Barris murkier sort of kerfuffle as we headed through the Fania chicane. So they've got a really nice buffer, and we have a look and see exactly what happened to Victor Barris. You see him just in the background of this shot, heading into the first part of the Fania chicane.
Oh,
and
too much
straight
speed.
into the back, into the car. And he's going to go across the track, and I think what he's going to do is end up spinning it as he rejoins the track. So here he goes. So he's just got damage. You can see the car crabbing away. So close to contact there. That was the 20. Who was that that almost ended up in the rear of Victor Barris? Really nail-biting stuff, I should say. Victor Barris is going to come back to the pits, but I mean, he had such promise for qualifying, and it's all just gone wrong for him.
Yeah, this is Alessandro Romanelli that we saw just pass Sim, almost in that hair-raising situation. I think that entire situation might have got a little bit more hair-raising coming out of Curve Paul Ferrer, as Alessandro's just, well, I think you're just seeing the car off to the inside of turns 13 to 14, and almost making contact with you is always crazy. And speaking of crazy, first lap through Blanchimont is crazy as well. As let's go back live to our fight for the lead, and they're 4 seconds ahead. What has happened between these two? As Romanelli is, Romanelli's had an incident, and Simone Fessi, big incident behind our two leaders.
So, in all of that, Tony Jimenez as well, he's out of the picture as well. Major shake-up in our top 5. Let's have a look and see what happened. This is Jimenez, the 11 car on the inside through Bruxelles. He's going to force Fessi to the inside line. This is into no name contact.
Well, no name, no front wing, no rear wheel, as you see drivers just darting everywhere to avoid Tony Jimenez, who is tied for 4th in the championship. Well, certainly not going to be tied anymore, but he will be losing spots. And then this is what happened. Alessandro Romanelli in front of Simone Fessi, and they both get collected right there, entering the corner, and they both spin out. They both continue on. You see Romanelli getting back into gear and pushing off the exit. Well, off the start of turn 12. I'm guessing that's just a little bit of misjudging the corner by those two. That is just so heartbreaking. So we take a look back at our group right now. Gavin, Petty, and Lung going side by side. And Petty getting onto the binders, entering El Rouge, and just allowing Lung to get ahead. Now you gotta watch yourself going up El Rouge and into Radion, because you can still definitely get that slowdown penalty. Here we go, Alistair Hay, McIntyre Jones, and Andy Flint. They're going to go 3 wide, heading into the comms. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? They're side by side. It's a big slide through there. It's Alistair Hay getting a wheel onto the front wing. But it is Hay, Flint, and Westman. Now your order is surprisingly, unlike in real life, Hay can make that move and not get the entire Nico hit me situation going on. And certainly not going to be getting a flat from that situation.
And the driver that took most advantage from that fight was Nicholas Westman. He was sort of lurking in the background, took the opportunities where it presented himself. He's found his way up into 5th place. Only Flint and Hay up ahead of him. Brunton and Gavin Petty scrapping it out. That's through No Name as well, really showing that a lot of action happening into places that we don't anticipate seeing drivers making overtaking maneuvers. McIntyre Jones behind Westman, trying to dart left and right. He wants past Nicholas Westman as soon as he possibly can muster, but he's being pressured by Lung as well. This is where drivers really have to sort of watch their head, keep their cool, because it's so easy to start overdriving the car, so easy to make a mistake like we saw Simone Fessi do last time by. But Westman now defending, or should I say trying to attack Alistair Hay as we head towards Blanchimont.
Andy Flint has made that move right before Blanchimont, going way wide is Alistair Hay. You can see the back end kicking around. That's going to be giving him a little bit less speed as his teammate Nicholas Westman swinging around the outside of the chicane and makes it work. And Hay is going into the pit lane as we got a spinner at the apex of the chicane on the final quarter of the lap, and we got a lot of cars going all over the place, inside, outside, and around we go as everybody's trying to avoid that. And I think that was Robert Ridgway who was just caught up in the middle. You can see contact right up ahead. That was one of the digital Apex cars making contact, and around they go, and Ridgway just getting tabbed from behind right there. And we got a little bit of damage here and there, but Ridgway falling a lot of spots after just a little bit of small tap for checking up for that incident, but that really broke up that group that we had chasing after our leader. Speaking of our leaders, Sam Coleman and Jerome Lamley are still battling it out with each other, and briefly it was Sam Coleman leading last lap, not Jerome Lamley, but they swapped it back. But our new fast lap of the race does belong to Sam Coleman, as our two leaders are 9 seconds in the lead.
I mean, it's really game on for these two now. 9 seconds. Flynn some 4 seconds slower on the last time by alone, so they've got so much more pace than Andy Flynn in third. I don't know if Flynn was held up with fighting some cars, because that is just not a competitive lap time from Andy Flynn at all. And while that's happening, these two are fighting as well, so they're costing each other little bits of time. Every time that Coleman or Lamey dives to the inside, tries to get past one another. Lamey leads this battle, you rightly point out though, Austin, that Coleman has the fastest lap by 0.2 of a second, in fact, so it's quite a difference between the top two. Coleman maybe is going to just start to think about preserving his tyres. McIntyre, Jones and Broughton both go off the track simultaneously, just throughout the corner of my eye. I just wonder if Coleman's going to play the long game here. He's going to save the tyres, he's going to save a little bit of fuel and mount an attack when, you know, Jerome Lamey is a little bit vulnerable. Looks to the outside, though, to disprove my theory. Lamey defends to the inside. Very nicely done through the bus stop.
Deeper. Heading into that corner, if you look onto the outside to go deeper on the brakes, that sets you up for the inside line. As, you know, that might be something, if you are just planning on making it as late as possible, that you want to look into for Sam Coleman, as we do have a lap car coming back out onto the track in front of our two leaders as they start up lap number 5. And we already have drivers in the pit lane if your favorite driver is not where they usually are. As, ooh, Lamley gets a little bit offset right there through El Rouge and Radion, as Coleman almost took opportunity right there, but Lamley defending down to the inside and Coleman onto the attack around to the outside. Head into Brussels, but he's just going to let off and let Lamley take that inside line as they chase down this lapped car.
Coleman just almost not seizing upon the opportunity. That might have been one of his easiest available opportunities to get past Jerome Lamey. Lamey wide on the top of Eau Rouge, and not what you want to see, especially this early on in the race. We've only done 5 racing laps, and at this point you'd hope that the tyres would still be feeling relatively in good condition, and it just doesn't seem from all of the onboards that we're looking at from Jerome Lamey that car is necessarily as planted as he would have liked. He went wide, in fact, it threw poo on lap 1, so maybe Lamey pushing hard to keep Coleman ahead of him, burning out his tyres too much. A 10 separates your first and second places at the moment. We're right on board with Reed Dennis, and you can just see behind you the great battle that's ongoing. Clark Williams, he's jumped to the pit, so I think he's been involved in some issue. So drivers really either being super lucky, you know, you have a look at Nicholas Westman, he's up 11 places, Andrew Brunton up 13, or drivers just not getting the rub of the green. Simone Fessi, Antonio Jimenez come to mind in that regard. We now start to catch up. The lap car up ahead is Reed Dennis going to get politely out of the way.
Look how fast through Blanchimont they are. As here comes Sam Coleman, look down to the inside of Jerome Lamley, but Jerome Lamley is racing for a championship. You have to keep that in mind. He's currently sitting 4th in the championship, just 69 nice points behind Lucas Maruka. Lucas Maruka is in 8th place, and he will be gaining on Lucas Maruka, closing down that gap, but it's just slightly in case of Lucas Maruka having an incident, and Maruka just actually gained a spot because there's a little bit of kerfuffle behind him. And speaking of kerfuffle, Lamley is gaining a little bit of gap with that lapped car separating him from Coleman just a bit, but that's going to allow Coleman to get a massive tow down this straightaway right here. Let's take a look down the field. We got a big gap, big pack race going on. This is Evan Way side by side with Bolalik heading into El Rouge and Radion, as no room is given, none taken by either of the drivers. Bolalik really wanted to try to go up onto the inside right there as they are chasing down James Cockram. Up the field, up the straightaway we go. O'Sherry defending from Rollinson, really late on the brakes as Rollinson just took the regular line and just let them by. As a little bit of off tracks happened in the background. I think Bolalik and Romanelli swapped spots. Romanelli came out of the nowhere as Evan Way made his spot up back into 14th.
Really interesting racing going on. It's really becoming the strategic race that, you know, we all thought it was going to be. It's all about who can stay in the slipstream, who is managing their tires. And actually, Mohamed Balik, the 20 car, he's running a higher downforce setup. You can clearly see that by his rear wing. You can really sort of spot the difference between him and almost every other car out ahead of him. Romanelli, for example, has got that almost T-tray rear wing, and Balik has just got so much pace through the middle part of this lap. This is where he needs to absolutely blitz it, nail every apex. He could just drive around the outside of Romanelli. Romanelli tries to mount a defense. That's not going to happen. It's simply just too much of a difference between the two downforce levels of the cars, but this is where Romanelli's car will come into its own. It's going to be so much quicker on the straight. What has happened in the lead? Austin Coleman getting ahead of Jerome Lamy. Thought Lamy was dropping back.
Watch it. Romanelli, a lot of speed. Gets past Bolick and almost making contact right there. They're so close through Blanchimont. They go. I think Adam Talbot almost falling them through there. Adam Talbot currently third in the championship, be getting some points because Robert Ridgway is behind them. And Ridgway, I believe, has had a incident. Yeah, Ridgway is down in 32nd, and he's been one of our drivers who has gone into the pit lane. Here's our move for the lead. Coleman looks down to the inside of Lanley, and Coleman goes late onto the brakes, gets his nose down to the inside, and cuts across the nose. Perfectly executed move by Sam Coleman. But it's taken right back by Jerome Lamley.
Yes, just what I was about to say. It seems that, you know, Coleman sort of is almost happy to stick behind Jerome Lamy and sort of pounce when the moment it is right, while Jerome Lamy wants that lead back at any cost. And, you know, Jerome Lamy has got track position, but Coleman, he's going to be fuel saving, and that doesn't necessarily help you so much, but what it does allow you to do is cool the tires down. You're putting less force through them. You're simply entering the corner a little bit slower. You're saving the tires. Coleman, I think, in just a better position. That's a very late move there from Christian Glamsetter. Just manages to survive. Sorry, that's Andrew Brunton looking at Lucas Maruk. I do apologize, Maruk there. He's got to think about the championship as well, and it almost feels like Brunton wants by, and maybe Maruk should just let him go and live to fight another day.
Yeah, living to fight another day. Certainly a few of the drivers' situations, as they do not want to be in this entire pickle, as some of them just going to be sitting behind, some of them going to be more aggressive towards the front. The draft, though, is definitely something to always keep in mind.
The draft is so powerful around here as we've rejoined this battle for the lead. Coleman has been mega through this final sector. He's going to be side by side, going to do the same thing that he tried to do a few laps ago. He's going to force Lamy to the inside, pinch him up towards the apex, compromise his exit out of the bus stop towards turn one. This is all about getting the best run possible out of turn one up towards Lacombe. But Coleman, once again, I just feel like he's happy to sit behind Lamy. He almost knows that he's got a little bit more pace. Lamy's so wide on the exit of turn one. This is surely going to be Coleman's best opportunity to take the lead and, crucially, hang on to it.
A lot of wheel spin coming out of La Source by Lamley, and here comes Coleman. Coleman all lined up in there. Lamley giving him that inside window, and what Lamley's going to try to do is let Coleman by, use that draft that he's going to get. He's already getting a little bit of side draft right there, but they're side by side, kind of tied with the speed. Lamley's going to try to beat him onto the brakes, but Coleman dives it up onto the inside. Coleman, your new leader here at Spa.
Coleman needs a mega middle sector to break the draft from Jerome Lamy, or at least get ahead of him enough that Lamy doesn't have a run at him into the bus stop chicane. That's the next real overtaking opportunity. Coleman a little bit, his car was wandering through Bruxelles. Lamy has just got so much pace in this middle part of the lap, but Coleman just needs to be able to nail the two Stavolos at the end of the lap, get a good run onto the back straight through Blanchimont. So if Coleman can replicate that, I think he's in a good standing at least to lead this race for a lap or so before Jerome Lamy can regroup and go for the attack again. Evan Way just getting past Rowlandson. So battles happening up and down the field. I don't really also know where to look at the moment.
You can look all over the place. Our timing tower is all crazy. The battle on track is insane. YouTube chat's not that insane right now, so thank you for making our job pretty pretty tame for that part, but oh my gosh, you got a lot of stuff heading through the field. We got Andrew Brunson trying to chase down Lucas Maruk right now. Maruk, our championship leader, and he's trying to chase down a few of his rivals ahead of him in the top 10. Leonardo O'Cherry is just ahead, and he'll be getting a few points right there. But the big one, it is Jerome Landley, who is down in 4th place in the championship, as well as Adam Tausma. So it looks like the fight for 2nd place in the championship is going to tighten up, as well as our fight for our championship lead, unless Lucas Maruk can really make something happen. Pull the rabbit out of the hat is up behind him. Bolik and Rollinson. Bolik going late onto the brakes in the chicane and absolutely making it work. See how close he went to the, well, that's one way to make the move. Darren Rollinson actually goes into the pit lane. So easy move by Bolik. I think he might have been waved on right there by Rollinson. Up ahead is O'Cherry versus Maruk. Maruk attacking on O'Cherry.
O'Cherry had a massive mistake into the bus stop chicane. That's going to compromise him all the way up towards Lecombe. Jerome Lamy has gotten past Coleman for the lead, so that battle's still raging on. O'Cherry's going to have to defend to the inside line. That's the best he can do, but Maruk has just got so much pace. That car trimmed out to what looks like the absolute limit. Maruk has got so much straight line speed. O'Cherry late on the brakes. He's going to have to send it down the inside there, side by side. Maruk's got the inside line. He takes it at the second part of the Lecombe chicane, and Maruk up to 7th place. That's a crucial move for our championship leader. He did it fairly safely. No major sort of 50-50 battles. Just got the move done cleanly. And just to help him a little bit, Evan Way had a spin in the background, but Bolalik up against Adam Tausma. You know, Mohammed is going to have so much pace in the middle sector, like we were saying a few laps ago, but he's just going to be so vulnerable on the straight. It just feels like he's going to have a really frustrating race ahead of him. You know, he's going to be rapid. He's going to try and use all the pace he can through Pouon, through the Fania chicane, and then lose it all as soon as he gets to any prolonged straight.
Yeah, as well as Evan Way. He's in that same boat right here as he's chasing down Amasella Romanelli. And he's got that downforce. So let's ride on board of Evan Way as Romanelli and James Cochran are battling it out for 10th place through our final corners at Stavia into Curve and Paul Ferrer. As you can see, this is where Evan's advantage is just going to stop, as now he's just going to be in the draft and on the back foot right now as we start lap 10 out of 22 here at Spa. Now, these are usually 1 hour races. We just crossed over the 20-minute mark, but it feels like we've already been going for an hour here.
I mean, especially if you're in the cockpit of one of these cars, it's so crazy out there at the moment. It's going to be so mentally draining for the drivers. Never underestimate how difficult it is. That's Romanelli.
Oh, there goes Romanelli. Too much mustard off the exit. Back end goes way out, and that allows Evan Way to go down to the inside on the race into La Source. And it is Way's turn 411. You see James Cochran going really wide at La Source. Evan Way, opportune time to go into 10th. Battle for our lead side by side as they go through Lecombe. And it's now Jerome Landley taking the lead, but here comes Coleman. Coleman onto a run down to the inside. Sam Coleman looking for the lead at Bruxelles, and it is Sam Coleman for the lead.
That's a really crucial place for Coleman to get past Bruxelles. There's no real overtaking opportunity now until the bus stop chicane. So as I said a few laps ago, Coleman needs to absolutely nail this middle sector. He needs to sort of allow Jerome Lamy to drive into Coleman's dirty air, just use up all of that tyre and use that advantage that Coleman clearly, I think, has in terms of his overall natural pace. Lamy, oh, well, that's very wide there from Coleman through the first part of the Fania chicane. You see the rear end of Coleman's car sliding all over the place. That is not going to help him one bit. And as soon as he starts to apply the power out of Stavlo 1, he's going to have no grip. Lamy has just been so good at retaking the lead. He's able to keep calm, keep his composure, get that lead back. And Coleman might be the slightly quicker driver, but just cannot hold the lead.
Between these two, they both have the lead. It's just they have to keep that lead. As here it goes, Landley looking on to the outside, heading into the chicane. And it is Coleman setting up onto the inside. Landley not going to get in there, and it almost gets his front nose buried into the back of Sam Coleman.
Nothing's happened to Adam Towsman while all of this is going on. Lamy needs the best run out. Actually, in scrap that, he's to the inside as we head into turn 1. Lamy retakes the lead, but Coleman is going to gain that ever crucial slipstream up towards Lecombe. But Lamy is just so late under brakes. He's got so much confidence in Coleman, just isn't able to carry the speed through. He's got to do it all over again. Has Sam Coleman if he wants his first race win in this series. His first race, of course, with the iGPFun series, but Coleman gaining to get towards Lecombe, Austin.
Coleman looking onto the outside at Lecombe, but Lamley is right there, but he's going to battle him for it. Lamley diving down to the inside and able to beat him onto the brakes as they head through Lecombe and Malmedy. As they continue on, looking down to the inside, defending onto the inside is Lamley into Brock Souls. So they go side by side, just a little bit on the entry, but Lamley leading out this pair into the newly renamed and reprofiled Speakers Corner here at Spa. But Coleman's got to run. Coleman looking into Puon. Coleman looking low. Coleman and Lamley side by side at Puon. Coleman goes down low. Coleman into the lead. But here comes Lamley on the switchback at Puon. Lamley carrying the speed right there. Lamley's got his nose ahead, but Coleman's now down to the inside. Heading into La Fange. And it's Coleman into the lead. Now they just swapped spots 3 times for these past 3 corners.
Whatever I said about the bus stop being the only overtaking opportunity after Brute South, these two have proven me wrong all the time. Supreme driving by both of them, but crucially, Lamy has got this run out of Stavolo to down towards turn number 19, the bus stop chicane. This is where Lamy is so quick. He's going to go all the way around the outside. Are we going to see Marcus Ericsson and Max Verstappen in iRacing? Yes, we are. Lamy to the outside through Francorchamps. He's going to do it.
That is awesome move right there. Jerome Lamley swinging around to the outside of Blanchimont to take the lead of the race as we just cross over the halfway point right now. Coleman now charging out on Jerome Lamley as it is a drag race here, and I believe we have another half of action all packed up for y'all on iGPFun here on Apex Racing TV. Coleman looks down to the inside, but it's not going to happen as Lamley goes wide and Lamley sits ahead, but Coleman's in the draft. Coleman looking down low. He is not going to try it at El Rouge, and Rowney on his air nose to tail right in the gearbox of each other.
So close to contact all throughout that section. Thought that Coleman was going to dart to the inside. He's got the run. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside of Lecombe, exactly what Maruk did a few laps ago. Lamy just seems to have a quicker car in the straight line, darts across to the outside to gain the racing line as we enter the braking zone of Lecombe. Very risky there from Lamy. Very sure that he was not going to make contact with Sam Coleman. He's got the pace. It just seems that Lamy, for whatever reason, has a little bit more straight line speed, and I just don't know where Coleman is going to get past Lamy. It seems like Coleman is trying to overtake Jerome Lamy at every single point of this track. Coleman needs to find another place to surprise the race leader.
Sam Coleman is definitely trying to find his way around Jerome Lamley. And last lap, it was certainly looking like Sam Coleman was trying every single opportunity. But now you got to think about which places was he getting the biggest advantage. Where was Jerome Lamley having a little bit of mistake? He's definitely not as fast as Coleman is through this part of the circuit heading into campus, but you can see Lamley, he's just nailing every part of the track. You extend the track just a little bit at this point, but this is absolutely crucial for Sam Coleman. Just learn what Lamley does. Study your opponent, find his weaknesses, and use that to your advantage. And he's going to try to do what Lamley did to him. He's going to look onto the outside of Blanchimont, but it's going to be cut off right there to Lamley, and Coleman almost made contact off the exit.
How did we not see a humongous airplane accident on the exit of Blanchimont? Lamy defending to the inside. Coleman trying to open up the exit, but gets oversteer on the exit of the bus stop. Coleman is trying to get past Lamy at every conceivable spot. Is he going to do what Jerome Lamy has done to Coleman time and time again? Dive towards the inside line. Lamy once again wider through turn 1. That gives Coleman the look to the inside, and has Lamy lost the lead through a mistake?
Lamley is trying to go onto the outside of La Source to carry the speed through there, but it is messed up. It's backfired as Coleman takes the lead, heading into El Rouge and rounding up, but that gives Lamley the drag and the tow. And now Lamley and Coleman drag racing down the Camel Straight there side by side. And Coleman falls to second place. Lamley cuts across the front nose. Coleman looking down to the inside. Probably not a little bit happy that Lamley just did that. He's going to take a look down to the inside and force Lamley trying to get him into his lane. Lamley gets onto the curb, onto the inside, but it's still Lamley just barely ahead of Sam Coleman. Sam Coleman getting a little bit of run. Coleman now looking down to the inside right now, heading into Brussels, and they're just millimeters apart from each other.
I just don't understand why Lamey is quicker in a straight line. Coleman is trying everything he can to keep ahead of Jerome Lamey, but Lamey is like a rocket ship on the straights. I wonder if Coleman has picked up some form of minor flaw damage, because Coleman just cannot gather and gain the pace in the straight line that Jerome Lamey can muster. Westman, while all of this was happening, he's up into third place, up 12 positions. Great drive by Nicholas Westman. I think Andy Flint has had some form of issue, but all eyes at the moment are on this supreme battle for the overall race lead. 9 laps to go, this time by Coleman. What has he got to do to get this race win? Where has he got to surprise Jerome Lamey? Lamey seems almost infallible at this point.
He's got to force Lamley into a mistake. We've seen Lamley make the mistake into Lacombe, but La Source and Lacombe, as here goes Coleman once more, looking onto the outside at Blanchemont. He's got to force Lamley into making a mistake. Lamley is forced to stay tight right there as Coleman's got to an inside. Coleman's going late onto the brakes. Coleman into the lead.
Coleman did exactly what Jerome Lamey has done to him time and time again. Late on the brakes, supreme move by him, but Lamey, he's got such a good straight line speed advantage over Coleman. Jerome Lamey tries to look to the outside line. They can't squabble too much through turn 1. In fact, Coleman's wide. That's going to give him a poor exit. Jerome Lamey's got that fast straight line speed advantage, I should say. Coleman had a poor exit. Are we going to see Lamey do the double around here? He's made the move on the outside of Blanchemont. Is he going to have a look into Eau Rouge?
If he tries what we've seen so many times not work, it would be epic to see if he tries that, but Lamley thought about it. He's just going to go for the end of the straightaway because Lamley's car is much faster in a straight line than Coleman, but Coleman looking for the speed onto the brakes, and Coleman dives it down to the inside, and it's Sam Coleman holding off Jerome Lamley and holding it for the lead. And the best part is that these two are still fighting each other. They are still pulling away from Nicholas Westman, who is on his own.
Westman, I mean, yeah, not being able to find the pace. These two are almost pushing each other to another level. Lamey made a mistake through Broussel's corner. That's put him on the back foot, 3/10 separating your top two, and that's how close they are. When they get 3/10 apart, we think that that's a huge gap for these two. They are driving on another level. Really reminds me of Hamilton and Verstappen in 2021 Formula 1. They just elevated each other to another level. They're just able to push the boundaries, and they are just so in the rhythm. Lamey, car stepping out through the Fania chicane. Lamey almost seems like he's on the back foot. And Austin, I noticed when we run on board with Coleman, it looks like he's got the slightest bit of damage to the front nose cone part of his car. I wonder if that's why he's slightly slow on the straight. They're running almost what should be the same amount of downforce, but Coleman picking up a little bit of damage, and that's just hurting his straight line speed ever so slightly.
You are not wrong. There is a little bit of damage right there and a little bit of drag for Sam Coleman. Coleman, though, defending and attacking with his might right there, defending onto the inside. And you can see Lamley is just using all the track to gain with him and just carry that speed out of the chicane. Oh, he's left the door open. Here comes Lamley. Lamley's going to look down to the inside into La Source. And yes, he is Lamley into the lead, but that's going to give Coleman that draft.
Lamey just is so good under brakes at the moment. Don't know what Jerome Lamey has done to improve his braking, but he's just on another level. Coleman now gaining as we head through Eau Rouge up towards Radion. It's crucial now that you nail every single inch of this racetrack. You have to be as you have to drive on your fingertips as light as possible, steering movements as we head towards the top of the hill. Coleman to the outside. Once again, he's done this one before. Coleman hitting the rev limiter as well there.
Yeah, Coleman getting all out of the exit and all out of the brakes, and he goes around the outside, but Lamley gets him right back in the following corner. Oh, this is beautiful racing right here as Coleman's trying to attack down to the inside, but it's cut off by Lammy. It says Coleman's going to try to go in all the way around the outside of Brussels, and he's done it! What a move by Sam Coleman for the lead!
Nobody does that. Supreme driving. I don't have any more words in my vocabulary to describe these two. Coleman, I have never seen a successful move around the outside of Brussels before. I don't think any viewers of Apex Racing TV, you will ever see that again. These drivers giving each other the maximum amount of respect needed. They are just enjoying themselves out there and giving us one of the best battles for the lead I think I've ever seen in my commentary career. Lamey in second place. Don't for 1 second count him out of this race. It's anybody's guess of who's going to come away with the win here tonight, and that is why iGPFun is honestly one of the best leagues that you can find in iRacing.
This is absolutely insanity right now. It's a 45 car grid, but the 2 cars in the lead are putting the show on the map right here. As Jerome Lately's got the speed coming into the chicane. Coleman's defending onto the inside. Coleman gets caught up onto the curb just a little bit. And here comes Lamley off the exit. They both get a little bit of oversteer right now. Who's attacking? Who's defending onto the inside? They're both staying to the right side of the track. They're swinging over to the left. The door is open for Jerome Lamley. Are we going to be seeing it again? Coleman's just leading out Lamley, but Lamley ties it out to the inside. And Jerome Lamley retakes the lead, but I think Coleman is playing Jerome Lamley right here to try to get that toe, but he's got a little bit too much. He just touched them. They're bump drafted here in Spa.
Said Formula 3s cannot bump draft. Look how close Coleman's getting. His head over Radion. They almost touch, almost Lamey having an aeroplane accident ending into the barriers on the outside of Radion, where we've seen horror crashes here before. Coleman to the outside line. Lamey just keeping out a little bit of an advantage. Lamey using that straight line speed. Coleman not going to find a way past on the brakes into Lecom. Coleman unable to replicate what he did 1 lap ago, but Coleman undoubtedly has the pace to win this race. Lamey has the pace to win this race. It's anybody's guess. Coleman, he likes the outside line around Bruxelles, but unable this time to find a way by.
Yeah, Coleman tried to set himself up for another outside line, or tried to bet that Jerome Lamley defending onto the inside would have got him a little bit loose onto the brakes and just got wide, but that's not going to happen right there, as these two seem to calm down just a little bit as Lamley goes pretty wide through Huon as they continue nose to tail. As you see that weird line that Lamley took, went wide, but that really lined himself up for this section of corners right here. But Coleman is going to be using this time to just nail these apexes, as it seems like Jerome Lamley is drifting the car through these corners. And Lamley's made a mistake. He's gone wide. He's missed the apex. Here comes Sam Coleman.
Coleman wide as well. He saw that Lamey made a mistake, was too eager to get on the throttle, but Coleman got a great opportunity. We saw Lamey go around the outside of Launch 1 a few laps ago. Coleman trying to repeat the favour.
Well, Coleman, he actually was successful around the outside. He forced Lamley to just hold off, and he almost does it again, but Lamley does not give him any inch. None taken, none given between these two. Lamley deep onto the brakes. The car just wiggling around right there, but Jerome Lamley now leading the race and getting all the way off into the AstroTurf. These two are battling like crazy, and honestly, I believe everybody is right now has got their popcorn in their face. This is one of the best Formula 3 fights I have ever seen in real life on iRacing in the world.
Trego Marto, another one of our regulars on Apex Racing TV, Austin, completely agrees with you. Round 17, here we go.
Coleman's played that perfectly. Coleman got the draft, he got the run, and he's got the line down towards the inside. But does he have the car? Because he does have that little bit of drag, but he's definitely got the brakes diving down to the inside. Coleman for the lead.
I was going to say that Coleman needs to have a great middle sector, try and build that gap. That's all redundant. It's going to be who is brave enough on the last lap. These drivers seem so closely matched that I don't really see one of these drivers sort of besting out the other, gaining a second gap. They're just so closely matched. This is all going to be about who can defend, who can attack on the final lap of this race. 6 laps until we get to that stage of the race. Coleman leads at this moment in time. Westman starting to chip away at this gap, only slightly, not going to be enough unless Westman...
It's the most minuscule
It is, but it's something. If these start battling, if these start getting extra, you know, sort of not, if they start slowing each other down even more, if they start battling, you know, all throughout the lap, if they go side by side through every corner, Westman will be involved in this fight pretty quickly. So they've got the buffer zone at the moment, but that's not guaranteed that that's going to stay for the rest of the race.
Speaking of buffer zone, Coleman has just pulled a 3/10 gap throughout that lap ever since getting past Jerome Lamley. He is nailing that second sector, but Lamley, he's definitely got that front straightaway speed as he's just clawed his way right back to Coleman, and he's coming in like a homing missile around the outside of Coleman and onto the brakes.
Lamey using a lot of the inside curve at turn 19. That's going to set him up beautifully for the exit. Gets a little bit of oversteer, but carries that momentum through. So crucially for Lamey, gaining time where it counts in the traction zones. He's going to have to focus on getting the best exit out of turn 1. Looks fairly sedate from him, and that's the perfect line that you want to take through La Source when you're trying to catch somebody. Just minimize that wheel spin and let the slipstream do all the work. We know how quick Lamey is in a straight line. He cuts to the inside line. He wants to take as little track as possible. Lamey gaining so much. Almost seems like he's going to make the move done before we've even hit halfway down the straight.
And here we go, Lamey round the outside, and he's cut off the nose of Coleman, but Coleman still got his nose out to the inside. Is Coleman gonna try to go really gutsy here? Down to the inside, it is not gonna happen right there, but Lamey attacking and defending on the same straightaway for the lead here at Spa, but retaking it. Top speed advantage by Jerome Lamley versus the corner advantage by Sam Coleman. Who is it going to be in these closing laps here? 5 laps remain in iGPFun Formula 3 Series presented by SRP here on Apex Racing TV.
Anybody's guess at who's going to win out of these two. I promise you viewers, there is a race going on below these two drivers, but this race has been so good that we just cannot take our eyes away from this fight. It's changing every single corner. Westman third, Petty fourth, McIntyre Jones in fifth, Maruk in sixth. He's having a good race for his championship standings. Remember, Jerome Lamey is a championship contender. He's currently in fourth place, so he's got to think about that in the back of his head, although I think that's a very, very small part of what he's thinking about at the moment. He clearly wants this race win to spice things up even more. Coleman, a blistering lap that he set last time aided by the slipstream that he got off Jerome Lamey, but Coleman a 2 minute 11.26. He was 5/10 quicker than Lamey, so Coleman has the pace. It's just whether he can produce the pace at the right point of the track.
He's definitely had to find that opportunity somewhere as they both separate from each other right now. Half a second, and I think that's what Coleman is going to be using as his buffer. Half a second to line up and engage that slingshot to chase down Jerome Lamley, because he's definitely not as fast as Lamley in a straight line, but Lamley, I think, knows what Coleman's trying to do. Breaks that draft just a little bit through El Rouge and Radion. As half a second, I think, is the biggest gap that we've seen between these two, which is saying something.
Practically the Stone Age in between the two at the moment. Coleman.
Oh, look at the snake down the front straightaway by Jerome Lamley to try to keep breaking that draft and not let Coleman chase him down.
You can hear, as we're riding on board with Coleman, he's bouncing off the ref limiter. I wonder if that car is just not tuned to be running in the slipstream. Lamey maybe just having a little bit more top end. That's going to give him better straight line speed, but Coleman's going to have the advantage when it comes to acceleration. So maybe a little bit of gear ratios playing in, but just to add to all of this excitement, all of what we've seen, all of the drama, we've got lapped cars up ahead. That's Alan Lee, the number 2. He's the next car that these two are going to encounter. He should get out of the way, but it's who is going to, is the driver going to be distracted? Are we going to see, an error from Lamey, Coleman? I mean, there is so much in this race. You cannot count out any one of these drivers to win.
Yeah, that's Alan Lee, the number 2, looking back at our 2 leaders. Remember, there is still a championship going on. Jerome Lamley is currently sitting 4th in the championship. Our championship leader, Lucas Maruk, was down in 15th at one point. He is now up into 6th place. Lucas Maruk closing that gap on Jerome Lamley and making that gain that Lanley would have gotten on him a little bit minuscule. And speaking of minuscule, a little bit of a hold up for Sam Coleman with Alan Lee on the outside where Coleman wanted to be on the lead up into Blanchemont. But Lanley makes a mistake into the braking zone. He goes a little bit deep. Here comes Coleman onto the attack. Coleman looks out to the inside. Is it side by side with 3 laps to go?
It's all going to be about who is almost behind the other driver as we head into the final lap. Lamey defends to the inside. Coleman's going to get the switch back. He's going to have the much better run off the corner, but he's got Eau Rouge in the way unless he wants to make a move down the inside into Eau Rouge. Fernando Alonso or Mark Webber. Flashbacks we are getting in the commentary booth. Jerome Lamey just holds out that advantage, but Coleman has got the pace. He's got the slingshot out of Radion. He's side by side, and it's almost the repeat of what we saw between Lamey and Coleman only a few laps ago.
Sam Coleman with the bravery of 1,000 men trying to put his nose down to the inside. He puts his nose late down to the inside at the end of the Camel Straight, but they do not make contact, and it does not work. But Sam Coleman is putting Lamley through the ringer, and Lamley is putting Coleman through the ringer. Are we going to be seen around the outside again? Yes, we are. Coleman's going to try to do it again, and he does not able to keep it off, but he's got his nose down to the inside. Coleman's going to try it out to the inside of Speaker's corner, but it's not going to happen. Lamley using all the track and then some to stay ahead of Sam Coleman. This is outstanding battle between these two.
Jerome Lamey's championship instinct kicked in there as he saw Coleman down the inside into Speaker's corner. Lamey decided, actually, I don't want to risk the car. I don't want to put it towards the apex. I don't want to rely on Coleman nailing his braking zone. Lamey running off the track.
Ooh, Lamey mid-corner, little bit of an oversteer. He wiggled a little bit, and that offset of it. Here comes Coleman sliding it down to the inside. It's
How did they not make contact? You never see overtakes out of Stavolo too, especially not in the dry. Lamey holds the advantage. Coleman not going to find a way around the outside of the Blanchemont corner. He's going to have to wait and send it down the inside as we head into the bus stop. That's his next real overtaking opportunity, and I think Coleman's going to seize upon that. Lamey, late defense to the inside line, perfectly legal there, but Lamey late on the brakes again. That's going to give Coleman such a good run into turn 1.
Coleman with a beautiful setup right there. This fight 2 laps to go is completely breaking my mind, and I am loving it. Coleman attacking Lamley. Lamley defending onto the inside, but there comes Coleman with the attack. Lamley defending onto the inside, and Coleman's onto the outside. They're going to be side by side with 2 laps to go. Heading through Elridge around it. Coleman just backing off. That's something I thought I would never say today, but he does back off right there. Now he's back onto the attack as they are going down through Kemmel and onto the Kemmel straightaway. Side by side, 2 laps to go. This is a setup, that final lap. Who wants to be behind? Who wants to be ahead? Coleman and Lamley side by side heading into the Coleman around to the outside. Lamley onto the inside. Lamley holding off Coleman right there for the lead of the race.
Oh, Lamey wide on the exit of Malmedy. This is going to give Coleman an opportunity into one of his favourite corners of the track. Bruxelles, we've seen him hold it around the outside line. Not enough grip, though, this time around, I should say. Sam Coleman off, actually, at Speaker's corner for good measure. Coleman needs to find a way past. We're getting down to the do or die minutes of this race.
Coleman got a nose onto Pouon, but he's just a little bit too tight. He got up onto the curb, and Lamley holding it around to the outside at the entry. Jerome Lamley and Pouon absolutely like butter on toast, but Coleman looks around to the outside right there, trying to beat him on the brakes. He's trying every corner and every trick in the book, and we got 2 laps to go. Well, 1.5 laps to go here. And last time we saw Lamley and Coleman have that mirror incident between each other. It's definitely much clearer through circuit. Kermit, Palfrey, and Stavelot as here we go on board to Sam Coleman. He's going to be on that bumper. He's lifted off right there. Coleman is setting himself up. He wants to be in this position. He's got a nose onto the outside. He's going to be lining himself up through that final chicane. Looking onto the outside once more. Going to try to force Lamley into that mistake of being late onto the brace, but neither of them making a mistake right now. And we got to do it 1 more lap again. White flag in the air. Let's do this. Coleman versus Lamley.
who is going to come out on top, who is going to be crowned the victor of this extraordinary IGP Fun race. It's anybody's guess. Lamy defends to the inside. Coleman forced to take the long way around the outside of turn 1. That's going to set him on the back foot, but we know how quick Coleman can be in a straight line. We know how quick he is through the Eau Rouge Radion section. You hear the car bouncing out, grounding the floor. This is Coleman's last opportunity, his best opportunity as well, to get past Lamy, to retake the victory. Lamy darting to the outside. He can't move to the inside.
Defending onto the inside. Here we go. Coleman with like a rocket ship looking onto the outside. Heading into Lacombe. They're side by side. Coleman's got the nose ahead heading into Lacombe. He's now got the inside line, but Lamy is still right there. Lamy getting onto the inside. They bang wheels just a little bit. Lamy and Coleman still side by side. Coleman getting a little bit side by side. As they are still side by side. Coleman is onto the outside. Heading into Brussels, and Coleman's got the lead. In his favorite corner, Sam Coleman is into the lead with just 10 corners to go. Is it Coleman? Is it Jerome Lamy? We still don't know.
Coleman, he needs to get a good run out of the 2 Stavolo corners. Lamy has been so good on the brakes into the bus stop chicane. Coleman, all of his focus will be going to getting a good exit out
this
of
is Coleman's section.
He won't care about this section, Tim. Austin, I do apologise. He won't care. He just needs to get a good exit. Lamy will be setting himself up. We know he made a move through Rongemont earlier on. Coleman wide, actually, through the second part of the Fania chicane. This race is most definitely not over.
It's definitely not over. Lanley has that top speed. Coleman does not. 4/10 separates them as they exit curve at Paul Ferreira. 3 corners to go. Blanchimont and then the bus stop chicane. Let's go racing. 3/10 separate them right now. Lanley is closing in. He is like a cruise missile right now. 1/10 separate them on the exit of Blanchimont. They're side by side. Get on your feet. Here we go. Lanley onto the outside. Coleman onto the inside. Deep onto the brakes they go. And then crossover move by Coleman. Gets onto the front bumper. Sam Coleman. First victory here in IGP Fun. Wow.
Wow, indeed. What a race. What a spectacular finale we had around here. That was one of the best closing laps of a race I've ever seen. Shout out to Nicholas Westman. He's in 3rd. Not had much screen time as him today. Gavin Petty in 4th place. He's gained 9 spots from his qualifying position. Lucas Marouk, as I said earlier on, that's a great championship result for him. He just got the points he needed. Leonardo O'Cherry on his return to the IGP Fun series in 7th place, Romanili 8th, Brunton 9th, Evan Way will cross the line in 10th place. James Cockram is just outside the top 10 in 11th place. Alistair Hay just behind him in 12th.
Sam Coleman versus Jerome Lanley will go down in the history books of IGP Fun as one of the greatest 22-lap fights we have ever seen here on iRacing. That was amazing.
I think scrap that, one of the best moments we've ever seen on Apex Racing TV. That's going to take some fight, some incredible spectacle to be. I am in awe of those 2 drivers. How did they not make contact after all that was going on? They were never more than a second away from each other. At no point did they even get close to making contact. There was a few wheel bangs, but that was all seemed tactical. There was no bad blood between them, and I'm sure that they must be absolutely buzzing right now. Coleman more than Lamy, but you can't help but almost accept after a race like that the racing was so good, you don't even really care about the result.
You seriously can't, because wow, this was such a amazing battle, and it has gone all the way to the wire. Sam Coleman in the final chicane went a little bit deeper into the brakes, kicked out the back end to perfectly place it on Jerome Lanley's front nose to guarantee himself the win. When it's at points it seemed all cards were stacked against him. He had all the cards, then Lanley had all the cards, then he had all the cards. But wow, both of these drivers are going to be leaving today with a massive smile on their face, and Jerome Lanley closes that points gap between him and Lucas Marouk down and will jump up, I believe, into 3rd place into the championship.
Major implications. Coleman taking some well-deserved donuts on the exit of turn 1. He's thoroughly deserved them. Lamy 2. I do not remember a race where we had even half of the amount of action that we had there for the fight for the lead too. That was just spectacular driving. The respect that they showed for one is on a level that I've never seen before. Austin, just supreme. This is the last lap. This is where Coleman got the move done. You see Jerome Lamy pulls to the inside. That's his defensive move done. Lamy tracks back out towards the racing line, but Coleman is there. He just goes around the outside, gets that inside line for the second part of the Le Combe chicane, I should say. Through Malmedy, Lamy has a look, but just Coleman has more speed through Malmedy. Bruce Sells, we know Coleman has been so strong around the outside lane around there. Very Max Verstappen-esque in the wet, just able to find grip where others cannot. And Coleman, as soon as he had that, he had the race done. He could defend on the inside as we headed towards the bus stop chicane. But both of those drivers should be incredibly proud. We have seen some moves that I would have never have expected to come off in real racing, let alone in the sim racing world. But Coleman and Jerome Lamy take a bow.
Seriously, and I believe we can now talk about this fight a little bit calmed down since we know the outcome. But when I saw Coleman go wide here, he almost had a incident with Sam Coleman with the win, as they were really going at it with each other. As, oh my goodness. But this is where Lanley's advantage was. Down that straightaway for the race win. He gets the speed, Coleman defending onto the inside where he needed to be, and this is where Lanley wanted to be, around the outside, but watch Coleman onto the brakes. He went a little bit deep, and bam, right there, he planted his car where he needed to be. A bump again right there, but it is Sam Coleman to take the win with a decisive placement of the car and a move down the Camel Straight to really start it off. Brussels, his favorite corner, and it was just a masterful drive by both Sam Coleman and Jerome Lanley. 1-2. And I think we might need to upload a second broadcast of talking for 3rd and 45, because there were other cars in this race, and I think we gave them about 3 minutes total.
I completely agree there. I mean, how could we get away from that fight? That was just incredible. Nicholas Westman in 3rd place. Great result by him. He's up 12 positions. Westman just seizing the opportunity where cars were sort of falling off the track around him. He just prevailed. Gavin Petty 4th. Will McIntyre Jones 5th. Lucas Marouk in 6th. It's a Digital Apex 5th and 6th. Great points for the Digital Apex team. Nardo Cherry 7th. Roman Neely in 8th place. Andrew Brunton in 9th. Evan Way in 10th place. James Cockram in 11th. Alistair Hay in 12th place. Mohamed Balik is 13th, with Marcelo Kessler alongside him in 14th place. Andy Flynn 15th, was racing actually up in the top 3. Andy Flynn falling away, had a few spins, I do believe, in the latter stages of the race. That puts him down in 15th place. Christian Glamset to 16th. Patrick Rowlands in 17th. He's up Patrick Rowlands is up 23 positions from where he started. Rafael Munzer in 18th place. Ben Gietti up 17. He's in 19th place, with Matthew Gracie in 20th place. He's up some 21 places as well. Victor Barris, a victim of the race earlier on. He's in 21st place after that mistake that we saw on the opening lap. Richard Van Veen 22nd. Leo Lung in 23rd. Frankie Franchica 24th. Mac Brewer 25th. Tony Jimenez 26th. He finished actually on the lead lap even after the crash that we saw from Jimenez. Chris Trott 27th. Killen Richie Robinson is in 28th place. Rory Collins 29th, with Neil Richie Robinson in 30th place, and the last driver to finish on the lead lap, Alan Lee. We saw him at the end of the race. He was in 31st place, with Robert Ridgway alongside him in 32nd. Vyacheslav Podopenko is 33rd, and then we get, unfortunately, into our retirements. We have Darren Rowlandson. He retired on lap 18. Giacomo Murgia on lap 15, Nick Carty on lap 14, Reed Dennis on lap 12, Adam Tausma on lap 10, Philip Lucas on lap 7, Clark Williams on lap 4, Simone Fessy on lap 1, and Timu Milikangas and Pesniak did not make a full lap. Timu in fact, in the YouTube chat for this whole entire race. Rosenkrantz and Simone Gabriel did not take the start. And Austin, I don't think we're going to have any voices left tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the cry of a broken man, viewers. That's the cry.
A happily broken. I couldn't have asked for a greater birthday present than that fight. Oh my gosh.
Didn't you ask Luca Varani to hope that the race provides some drama? And good racing?
I said, give me a good show. When I asked that, I didn't mean the greatest freaking race I've ever saw.
I'm lost for words. I think I'm going to have to look up some synonyms for supreme excellent, because I have simply run out of the vocabulary to describe that race. I have never seen, and I don't think ever will see again, two drivers going at it. That was sort of Senna and Prost-esque. Their control over the cars, the way that they would place them, the tactics between Coleman and Lamy. I mean, it was just on another level. They were pitch perfect at every single millimeter.
I feel bad for whoever does the highlight editing for the iGPFun series, because that entire race. Wow. That was such a final fantastic race right there that we've seen here at Spa, that I feel like all of us could go home happy knowing that we just witnessed something special. What a fight, what a race, and what a absolute day it was here on Apex Racing TV for the iGPFun series presented by SRP at Spa. And luckily for these drivers that next week is just a short drive away. We go to Zolder next week, and which is going to provide a lot less drafting fights, but a lot more technical fights with whoever can attack these chicanes the best. But certainly, I think all the drivers are going to go home happy knowing that they just competed in history of one of the greatest races we have ever seen. I've been joined by Sebastian Bosher-Williams with Luis Arai in the production booth. And I hope all of you joining us here on Apex Racing TV had a fantastic time watching the iGPFun Formula 3 series presented by SRP. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.